Hello everyone, and especially for the newcomers in this series, welcome to FragrantLotusParadise with Altroy Galcone. In this video, I'm going to show you all the areas that you can explore in this map. Because currently in the rotational breakout, this map is on the list, so that's why I'm releasing this video right now. If you do like this kind of content, then be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you will not miss out on anything that I put on this channel. Everything is free, you don't need to pay, and by subscribing you make this channel grow and flourish even more. Which makes me happy so I can create more good content for you to watch. So here we are on the Serene Turtle Island, the first area that you can explore in this map. In the story, this is the place where Mala Sauce Cookie as well as Purple Yam Cookie woke up after being separated from Dinosaur Cookie and Milk Cookie. You can experience the story in the main story mode, and you have to go until land 6 to get there in that particular game mode. By the way, you might have realized that we are sailing on a boat at the moment. This boat will continue with us all the way until the end of the stage. Oh yes, I should mention that if I say area or stage, those two words meant the same thing in this video. Just want to clarify that. So here we are approaching into the area number 2. This is Hearty Apothecary. This is where Ginseng Cookie's trial took place, as well as the place where we got to meet Bellflower Cookie as well as Ginseng Cookie for the first time in the story. One feature you will definitely recognize from this map is the smoke, thanks to the stuff that is being cooked in the background. You have to pick up the fan jellies in order to get rid of the smoke, like the one that you see at the top there. I'm trying to get that, but unfortunately I wasn't being able to reach that fan jelly there. Anyway, let's move on into the next cookie. So the cookie that I was using for this particular run was the mint lava cookie. The first cookie was obviously the flat tofu cookie. One thing you will notice about this map is the appearance of the Lotus Jade Gems. So Lotus Jade Gems, and I'm going to show it to Lotus Gems from now on, is these jellies that I collect right now. Those are the green colored ones. These jellies are unique to this particular map alone. There are many other things that made FragrantLotusParadise a unique map to play, and the fan jellies as well as the Lotus Gems are the two things, and there are plenty of things that you will see in the run later on. Oh yes, I should explain that the fan jellies that you collect to get rid of the smoke, those only appear on this particular stage alone. You can actually miss the fan jellies, and as a result, the smoke here will get twice thicker. Thankfully, you only need one fan jellies to get rid of all of the smoke, but if you do actually miss one of the fan jellies, it will make the gameplay much harder because you have a hard time trying to see where you go. Speaking of which, we are coming to the end of stage 2 and approaching stage 3. So welcome to Wholesome Heartfield. This is the place where Bellflower Cookie's trial took place, as well as where Bellflower Cookie and Ginseng Cookie lives. Now, what you're seeing here is the unique experience of running on this particular stage. So throughout this stage, there are some areas where the cookie skill got disabled, as well as the health doesn't get reduced. The first one, which you saw just a bit earlier, is where we can gather Pointunia, where picking up those flowers will grant us lots of points. Anyway, let's move on into the next cookie that I'm going to use for this particular run. So, the third cookie, Cream Soda Cookie. She is one of those cookies where using her skill is pretty simple, but trying to master it, well, good luck. If you do want to learn to master it, then the difficulty to use her skill basically goes sky high. So this is the second area where the cookie skill got disabled, as well as the cookie's health not running out. If I remember correctly, there are 4 special areas in this particular stage, and you have 2 of them. The first 2 areas are the same, but the third one can bring a difference in how the run goes. And you cannot determine what kind of buff that you got during the third special area because the game provides it to you. So here comes the part of the stage where there is a hidden area. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to get into said hidden area. You can miss the hidden area, and that's not going to be pretty. And the hidden area should be here right now. There you go, I've entered the secret area. You can say that this area is the hidden bonus time area, because you might have noticed that the cookie's health did not get reduced at all. Sadly, on this version of FragrantLotusParadise, as well as the version that you are going to play in the current version, those 2 healths there that I picked up, it used to be one gigantic potion, which definitely grants us a lot more potion. Yeah, too bad that it got nerfed. By the way, this is the third special area, and unfortunately we have been given lip grass, which is a worse version compared to the other buff that we could take in this particular special area, which is called the Swolegano. Ideally, we want to have Swolegano because Swolegano's power essentially make the cookies go giant mode. But unlike in the normal version of the giant mode, the version on Swolegano makes the cookie twice as big compared to the one that you get in a normal giant mode. So remember when I said earlier where there are some parts of the map that got nerfed? This is one of them. This 4th special area is the last one in this map. The part where the map got nerfed is the last part here, which we picked up 2 small potions. Back in the early days of this map, that used to be one giant potion, which makes the cookies run much longer. But unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. If it were, then the score on Team Soda Cookie here will definitely be much better compared to what I got in this particular video. So here we are on the 4th stage of this map. This is the Hortensia town. This is where Hydrangea cookies trial took place. In this stage, you can gather the Hydrangea flower jellies. And you can gather it by destroying the vase that which holds it. There is 2 more gimmicks on this map, and you are going to see it in the next cookie. I'm still wondering to this day why Devsisters decided to reduce the amount of potion that you get from the previous stage. So the 4th cookie, Tangerine Tanghulu cookie. The hard part for this cookie is you need to collect the rainbow berry jellies, because I've actually upgraded the amount of points that you can get by using the treasure rainbow bear cave. But that brings another challenge of you try to not miss those rainbow berry jellies. Anyway, here comes another gimmick of this part of the map, balloons. The balloons on this map will make you float in the air, therefore your jumping reach is much further compared to a normal jump. Oh yes, I should explain that by carrying the magic compass, the job of collecting these rainbow berry jellies will be a lot easier compared to if I don't, because Tangerine Tanghulu's skill doesn't actually pick up those rainbow berry jellies. So you might have realized that I haven't talked about the story in this particular breakout mode. That's because the story didn't develop so much until this part of the map. In the story of finding the dragons, this is where the cookies are preparing for the Wish Festival. and that's where the map will head next. But first, the first ever bonus time on this map. Now, normally in this first bonus time, there are a couple of moves that you need to do to get the optimized score, but because I'm running with the Magic Combats as well as the Divine Guardian Shield, all the jellies on the bonus time are headed straight towards me and I didn't need to do anything, apart from keeping the direction upwards to still get the optimized score. So, when I use the 5th cookie, we only scratch a third of this map. Yes, the map is actually quite long, even by Breakout standard. Anyway, let's move on into the next cookie that I'm going to use for this particular run. So, the 5th cookie, Blue Slushy, I actually already have a super epic costume. That's the reason why the default version, which you might have, is slightly different compared to my version of Blue Slushy cookie. Now, the last gimmick for this map is these wheels. You need to be quite careful of where you step on, because if you step on the wrong area, you will just simply fall into the water. So now, welcome to the Wish Festival. So here we are, the Wish Festival. And you might have noticed the gimmicks for this particular part of the map. Yes, it's those cannons, and those cannons will propel you straight towards a certain part of the map, while missing all of these jellies that I'm collecting right now. When I played this map for the first time, I always say to avoid the cannons. Now, after playing this map for a couple of years, I could say that it's entirely dependent. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it brings devastating consequences in the later part of the run if you actually either use the cannon or not use the cannon at all. But sometimes you need to determine which ones that you need to use and which ones that you need to ignore. I'm not saying that it is RNG dependent, but it is definitely dependent on the strategies that you use for the run itself. Sometimes in one area you need to use the cannon, and in other areas you need to ignore the cannon. But one thing is for sure, Mala Sauce Cookie and Purple Yam Cookie did not use the cannons in the story mode. What they did is the same as the NPC's cookies, which unfortunately the story did not show the highlights. But basically they are making wishes, so their wishes could be granted by the Lotus Dragon cookie. By the way, believe it or not, we have already explored a third of the map. So, another cookie that I've never given an appearance until now. This is Leek cookie. The reason why I'm showing this cookie is because at that time, this cookie got buffed, and it got pretty decent buff to the point where it can make an appearance in my videos. So here's another gimmick in this map. See these switches here? You can turn it on to turn on the fireworks, and the fireworks will grant you even more of these jellies. Oh yes, I should mention that this is the part in the story where they got to meet Hydrangea Cookie for the first time. And she promises Mala Sauce Cookie, Purple Yam Cookie, Bellflower Cookie, and Ginseng Cookie to meet Lotus Dragon Cookie. And that concludes the story mode so far. The thing that made me remember about this stage is not just about the gimmicks that is set on this stage and this stage only, but at the time where this update were introduced, I remember that there was a tweet, and I've actually managed to find it. And what's hilarious about this tweet is someone replies to CookieRun's official account, "Did you make Ginseng Cookie deliberately sexy?" I'm going to talk about this tweet later. Oh yes, there is one final gimmick that I just remembered. See these two couples there? This two couple, if you put that switch, it will grant you a huge potion, which is absolutely critical. By the way, those two cookies there, it references something according to the Chinese mythology. If you know what that is, then let me know in the comment section down below. So here we are, stage 6, beneath the lilies. This is where the destruction-based cookie are really great to use. Back then, cookies like Ninja and Scorpion were basically the meta to be used on this stage, but not anymore, because we have come up with a better substitute. Well, when I mean substitute, I mean Devsisters took an old cookie that has already been in the game and massively buffed him, and now basically he is the best option to complete this particular part of the map. And there he is, Lemon Cookie. I know. I know that this cookie is one of the oldest cookie to be released in this game, and yeah, as I said earlier, this cookie got a massive buff thanks to Lemon Cookie being chosen as one of the cookies that got the Grand Championship League costume. And with the addition of Orange Cookie as one of the pairings for Lemon Cookie's pet, that makes it even more powerful. And thanks to Orange Cookie's pet ability, which as you can see generates blast for a couple of seconds, it just basically turned this cookie into a gigantic point making machine while destroying everything in the path. Now what I need to do now is not crash to anything basically to prevent the shield from getting broken, and if it does happen then I have to restart the run all over again. Oh yes, I haven't talked about this particular map in the lore context. So this is where Gingerbrave's brand new story and the guild story merge together into one. So from the guild story's perspective, after Purple Yam Cookie meets Lotus Dragon Cookie and to discover that her power is essentially just illusion instead of making things come true, as well as realizing that Hadranya Cookie just essentially didn't like how Bellflower struggles with the fact that the people in the town of Hortensia, which is the 4th stage of this map, was having an illness and tries to cure said illness instead of, just consulting with Lotus Dragon Cookie for hope that the illness gets cured. Speaking of which, the part where Gingerbrave got merged in this story is because the Paradise Compass points at this location, and that is how the Gingerbrave friends managed to get here. So where was I earlier? I want to talk about the story related to Twitter stuff. Oh yes, I know. Yeah, the one that's actually pretty hilarious. So Devsister one day put up this tweet and someone commented on that picture, "Did you deliberately make ginseng cookie sexy on purpose?" And whoever is in charge of the Twitter account basically tweets, "I'm sorry, what?" I tried to find the original tweet, but unfortunately the person restricted access to whoever can see that person's account. So here's a tweet from someone else that is the closest that I could find. So, stage 7, Lotus Palace. Funnily enough, it wasn't until this recording that I noticed the entrance for this particular stage looks like a Lotus Dragon Cookie. It is so unbelievable that I took this long to realize the gate which enters this stage is basically a statue of Lotus Dragon Cookie. But the thing that makes this particular part of the map memorable to me is not what you think. It's not about the background, it's not about the obstacles, it's not about the music that is played on this part of the map. None of those. Because when this cookie was released, it had a glitch where you could get at least 1 billion points. No, I'm sorry, take that away. 1.2 billion points. I'm not quite sure how much you could get from activating this glitch, but it's definitely more than 1 billion points. If you are a veteran to this game, you might have already guessed what kind of glitch that I'm about to talk about here. But for those of you who are new to the game, I'm going to introduce you to a glitch that I call it the pepperoncino glitch. I have no idea what this glitch is called in the community, I just call it that way. I cannot show you the glitch in my page here unfortunately because that glitch has already been patched out for quite a while actually. But it's pretty hilarious. Royal Mike did the video on it. You can search on the YouTube search bar by typing the word pepperoncino gaming. Anyway, time to move on into the next cookie, and I'm going to explain how that glitch works in the next turn. Oh yes, I do forgot that the cookie that I used earlier was raspberry mousse cookie. This time now, it is Cyborg cookie. Anyway, where was I earlier? Oh yes, the pepperoncino glitch and how that thing works. So the idea of pepperoncino cookie skill is pepperoncino cookie slams the ground with his gigantic sword, and the result of that makes jelly spawn, and you can collect more jellies with it. And you can do it 3 times, and the last one will speeds up pepperoncino's movement as well as gaining the most amount of jellies, as well as the obstacles that you manage to destroy. Yes, pepperoncino cookie is a destruction based cookie. But for some reason on that stage, if you use the skill, the last one, and it just so happened before you hit the ground, you hit the bonus time, the game got confused and kept the momentum. So the idea was that pepperoncino cookie is supposed to go really fast but at a really short distance. But for some reason, if you enter the bonus time before the skill ends, before you hit the ground, the game somehow kept the momentum. So instead of going really short and fast, you go really long distance and really fast. Oh yes, I should explain that the bonus time that we got earlier is the final bonus time on this map, and if you use that glitch back when pepperoncino cookie was released, I mean this is when season 6 is coming to an end, and if you use that glitch you can go all the way until the end of the map and then back again. And while doing so, you are getting at least 1.2 to 1.7 billion points. It is unbelievable. And it's not like this next stage is going to be the final stage. There are at least 2 more stages before the final stage. And if you use that glitch, you can go instantly into the final part of this map. It is unbelievable. But weirdly, despite there is a recording thanks to Royal Mike, but for some reason in the wiki page, if you take a look at the page for FragrantLotusParadise, this glitch wasn't mentioned for some reason. So yeah, let's move on into the next cookie. And this stage is also special because there is another glitch, and this glitch actually broke the game. So yes, Palace Archives. This is another stage where it had also a famous glitch, but unlike the ones that I mentioned with the pepperoncino glitch, this one actually got recorded in the wiki fandom of this game. So I have no idea how this glitch come to be, nor who is the first person who discovered it, but basically, see this scroll jelly here? If you tap it, then the scroll above will make their jellies hidden and falling down, and you can collect it. But back in the day, there was a glitch that caused the game to calculate the pairs wrong. So if you use Prophet Cookie and his pet, for some reason the game calculates the berry jellies way more than it should. But the weirdest part of this glitch was if you have a phone and your phone is really cold, for example after you put it on a fridge, for some reason you get more points from those glitched berry jellies from the scrolls there. For some reason, if you use Prophet Cookie and his pet. I have no idea how the glitch works and how causing the phone to go colder than usual makes the berry jellies trapped in these scrolls ended up being calculated more. I have no idea. It was a really funny glitch, it was game-breaking but not as bad as the pepperoni glitch that I mentioned earlier. And also, you can take a look on the wiki fandom to see how the glitch itself in demonstration. Anyway, I haven't talked about this place in regards to the lore. Basically, this is where Alchemist Cookie learns how to defeat the Blue Dragon. But there is more to the story rather than just this is where Alchemist Cookie learns how to defeat the Blue Dragon, aka the Lotus Dragon Cookie. So what happened was, in the story, after realizing that Purple Yam and Malasauce got scammed by Lotus Dragon Cookie, they eventually meet up with Gingerbread and their friends, and they had a rest in Bellflower's town. That's where Bellflower Cookie's trial took place, and they go straight back in with all of them into the Lotus Palace and tries to beat Lotus Palace after basically scamming them. Speaking of which, this is Lotus Garden. This is the second to last stage on this map. So you might have not already realized the gimmick on this stage, which is the brightness on this stage is dimmed. So to make it slightly more difficult, unless you are like me who know this stage at the back of your own hand. And looking back at the notes that I gathered for this particular episode, it turns out that you don't need Prophet Cookie to do the Palace Archive glitch. It turns out that you only need Prophet Cookie's pet. So sorry about that. So sorry if I got mixed that up, because when I saw that glitch for the first time, the person who saw it to me, they used Prophet Cookie and the Cookie's pet. But it turns out that you only need the pet of Prophet Cookie. Anyway, speaking of which, we have already covered 2/3 of this map. And right after this, it is the final stage of this map. So next up, Strawberry Stick Cookie. This is another cookie that the only time that I cover her is when I did her cookie trial almost a year ago. As of right now, when this video was put on YouTube, this map was the last time when the main Breakout map lasts an entire year. The next map that replaced this map, the Lustrous Longan Palace, only lasts 38 weeks if I remember correctly, before for some reason Devsisters decided to add another sense of Yoguka Breakout map, and that will be the next video's focus. Because the only time I covered that map is when I did a random breakout challenge. That's a game mode that I haven't played again for quite some time actually. Anyway, here we are, arriving at the final stage of this map. This is Dragon's Garden Paradise. I still have 12 cookies, but I don't know if I could make it all the way to the end. Because as usual in Breakout mode, the final stage is really long. Sometimes it could take up to 5 cookies to reach the end of the map. Well, unless you use practice mode to get all the way to the end of the map. Only to find out that at the end of the map, the stage loops back towards the middle of the stage, and it will keep going that way until your cookies have no health remaining. So, about this place. This is the place where Lotus Dragon Cookie's trial took place, the first one, not the second one. And you might have seen a flower in the background. That is where Lotus Dragon Cookie gains the cookie's power. And Gingerbread and friend tried to destroy the very flower that you see on the background, because it holds Lotus Dragon Cookie's powers, which basically make an illusion where the cookies live all happily ever after, but they didn't realize their life force essentially being taken away from them but ultimately they got beaten and thrown away from the castle by multiple Hadrenia cookies, which for some reason Lotus Dragon Cookie and Hadrenia Cookie have thousands of them, and that somehow wasn't mentioned in the story at any point. Now we are coming up with the 13th, yes, the 13th cookie of the run. This is Moon Rabbit Cookie, and you might have guessed the reason why people don't like running in breakout mode with more than 10 cookies. And Devsisters, in their infinite wisdom, decided to put Wonder Crab, a map that when it came out, you need to run with 20 cookies before you can get the rewards. The only time when that happens is back when Breakout mode was released into the game back in 2017 with Escape from the Oven. That should put you to an idea just how long 20 cookies have come into not existing anymore. And even today, most Breakout maps, we only need to run with 10 or even 8 cookies, and the coins Breakout mode, that was what I would like to call it, we only run with 3 cookies, except for the Jellywood map, which requires 5 cookies. And also the Desert Paradise as well, I just remembered that one. You might have realized a couple of minutes earlier that we are avoiding obstacles from a giant mandolin. That mandolin is owned by Lotus Dragon Cookie. Also, for some reason, Devsisters decided to only render Lotus Dragon Cookie's hands, which is weird because in the future, when they did Longan Dragon Cookie's trial on the hard difficulty, they did manage to render the entire Dragon Cookie as a whole. So it is weird to see this is being kept for some reason. I have no idea. I guess the only reason why they decided to keep it that way because they have to redraw the entire mandolin and the hand as well. So the next run is going to be with a cookie that used to be a staple in this game mode, and that is going to be none other than Sugar Glass Cookie. Oh, Sugar Glass Cookie, how far you have fallen from the meta in Breakout. Because back when this cookie was released, this cookie was absolute god tier in Breakout mode. Speaking of her, I do remember when CookieRun Kingdom players look at this cookie and they want this cookie to be in the game, but for some reason Devsisters, in their infinite wisdom, decided not to release it. And I've counted in the last 2 or even 3 years, this cookie only made an appearance as an NPC, and Amber Sugar Cookie is appeared only as a voice for some reason. To this day, we have no idea who voiced Sugar Glass Cookie and Amber Sugar Cookie in CookieRun Kingdom. But one day when the VAs are announced, I'm pretty sure it is going to be another VA from a cookie that someone has voiced before. Anyway, remember earlier when I said that Sugar Glass Cookie is no longer a meta in Breakout mode? Well, it is if you are a veteran player. If you are a new player, I highly recommend to build her because this cookie in Breakout mode is just awesome. There's a reason why Sugar Glass Cookie in the meta back then used to last for 2 whole years. That's how good she was back in those days. I do recommend also to build up the pet for her as well, because the pet makes her the god tier in Breakout back in those days. Because you're about to see why that is. See? There you go. She got a ridiculous amount of health for the second run. And also the pet generates shield, and you can only break the shield once, like I did there, and from this point on I have to run but without any more colliding into obstacle. It doesn't look like much, but sometimes one shield is just enough. Anyway, what do I think about this map in general, as in the difficulty level? I will say this Breakout map is one of the easier ones, and especially it is going to be easier with me having multiple years of experience running at this map. But for new players it can be quite tricky, especially in the Hortensia village stage as well as in the Lotus Garden and the Dragon's Garden Paradise too. Anyway, here's the 15th and final cookie for the run. Another cookie that I have never ever shown you before. This is mustard cookie. This is one of those cookies where it was released back in season 1 or season 2, I forgot which one, but definitely it was released back in the early days of this game. After looking it up, it turns out that this cookie was released at the end of season 1. So why I'm using this old cookie, a cookie that in any other game would have been pretty much useless? Well, that's because back when I created this video, this cookie was selected as the final cookie by the game, and also at the time when I made this video, this cookie got buffed after so many years of not receiving any buff whatsoever. You might have realized if you take a look at this cookie's wiki page that her appearance is different. That's because I'm using her epic costume equipped. This is a skin called the Dawn Rebel skin costume, whatever would you like to call it, it's basically the same thing. And with that out of the way, I've pretty much tell you everything that you need to know about this particular breakout map. The next video, it is going to be Twinkle Pink's trial. Thankfully, I've pretty much maxed it out already, the character, the pet, as well as the magic candy. Anyway, let's see the final score and if I could get into the challenger rank. If I did, then this will be a pretty decent result. For me at least, you might have a different opinion on that one. So let's talk about her skill, which if you're a new player, you might have never seen it before. So in Master Cookie skill, you have to pick her spray can 5 times, and if you do manage to pick her 5th spray can, she will spray everywhere, and if it touches an obstacle, it will automatically destroy it as well as granting massive amount of points. Anyway, let's see if I could grab the final one. And why is it so far away? Oh my god, it is so far away. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. If I could reach it just in time, I would get a lot better than the current score. Anyway, that is it for today. I'm Galcon signing it off, and I'll see you on the next videos. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.